The Hindu Book of Astrology by Bhakti Seva. Chapter 4. Aries. All persons born from March 21st to April 19th inclusive were born under the sign of Aries. This is the head of the fire triplicity and is a most favorable sign to be born under. Your success in everything depends upon tremendous push, energy, and systematic effort. You must be stubbornly persistent in carrying your projects to a successful end. All persons born from March 21st to April 19th inclusive were born under the sign of Aries. This is the head of the fire triplicity and is a most favorable sign to be born under. Your success in everything depends upon tremendous push, energy, and systematic effort. You must be stubbornly persistent in carrying your projects to a successful end. Men and women of the Aries sign, when they do not fear opposition and are sincerely honest and earnest, become great leaders. The planetary and solar forces which surround you can be of greater help when you are kind, gentle, noble, generous, agreeable, and affable. At such times you are very fascinating, charming, and exceedingly magnetic and hypnotic. Any man or woman who has magnetism is a grand success in everything. Education, culture, and lots of reading will make you a brilliant and charming conversationalist. Knowledge and wisdom are of great importance to you, and you can acquire the same without much difficulty if you will set your mind with grim determination that you must have knowledge. Powers and forces which are yours by birth will help you. We yogis positively know that the devas, angels, will help all Aries people who have faith in themselves and are hopeful, cheerful, and courageous. There are no powers in the universe that can help in the slightest degree anyone who whines, murmurs, complains, and broods over troubles or obstacles. There is a way out of every trouble, and the calm, quiet, patient being soon discovers that way and is helped by unseen powers. When the higher or spiritual side of the Aries nature is cultivated, it makes a wonderfully strong character with extraordinary psychic powers for banishing all ill, sorrows, and troubles. You can acquire clairvoyant powers when you can learn to diligently apply yourself to trying to improve your mind and body by thought and study. It is very important that you think highly and live simply. Only do one thing at a time and learn to concentrate and apply your mind to that one thing alone, and not scatter and throw away your force on a number of undertakings. Steady application is absolutely necessary in amassing wealth and having perfect health and happiness. It will be of advantage to you to study occult science and metaphysics. Many such works are published, and if you have a strong desire to know about these subjects, you will find a way of laying your hands on the right works at the right time. Always remember, you can make a grand success in anything you undertake if you so believe at the commencement of the undertaking and persistently hold to that thought until the end. Aries people of a true religious nature who persistently and silently pray to God for help, light, and direction invariably have their prayers answered. And now a few words of caution about envy and jealousy. Often Aries people have envious and jealous thoughts which retard their progress and dwarf their nature. To counteract this bad and injurious state of mind, learn to give forth thoughts of love and kindness to all your fellow beings, and especially learn to love your enemies and those who are more successful than you are. In love affairs, you will be a dire failure if you are the least bit jealous. No one can really love or admire anyone tainted the least bit with jealousy. Love is always driven away by jealousy. Moreover, there can be no happiness where there is jealousy. In business matters, envy of others' success is disastrous to one's own success. It should delight you beyond all measure to see everyone succeed, and you should never gloat over the failure of anyone who is competing with you. A great man or woman is always above all envy or all jealousy. Selfishness, anger, intense greed, and impatience can also block your way to success. You must always strive to be large and broad-minded, liberal, tolerant, and not bigoted. These are the men and women of the world who succeed, the broad-minded people. Now, I tell you emphatically that any Aries person who will be guided by my advice as given here can, without a question of doubt, become perfectly healthy, vigorous and powerful, lovable and charming, and wealthy and happy. Associate all you can with good, wise, educated, and successful people, and in conversation do little talking yourself, but a great deal of observation and thinking. This is a rule observed by all who desire to become wise and great. Life and its proper conduct is the greatest problem man has to solve, and we must silently and alone give much thought to it. When you have a very important matter to decide, take plenty of time in arriving at a decision. You should always be in a quiet and calm state of mind in settling important matters. Anger, haste, and excitement have caused much failure, much sadness, and much sorrow in this world. A happy marriage is a good thing for Aries people of both sexes, and in the selection of a life partner, don't be in too great a hurry. If you are married, then continually study and plan to make your home a bright and happy one. If there is not harmony, peace, and happiness in your home, the chances are that it is your fault, as Aries people often cause unhappiness by their anger, selfishness, and jealousy. This sign is governed by Mars and Neptune. The gems are amethyst, Brazilian, and diamond. The astral colors are white and rose pink. The diseases that you are most likely to suffer from are headache, afflictions of the eyes, stomach trouble, and paralysis. Your best companions are those born in Sagittarius and your own sign. There are really two distinct types of Aries people. One type is tall, spare, with oval face, swarthy complexion, and large shoulders. The other type is short of stature. May the peace and blessing of the Blessed One and all the devas, angels, and all the yogis of the universe be ever with you, dear sister or brother of Aries. Bhakti Seva. Cusps. If your first breath was drawn when one sign was taking the place of another, you will partake of the characteristics of both signs. Hence, you belong to the cusp. The residence in a sign consists of 6 days. Any time less endows one with some of the qualities of the preceding sign. The cusp of Pisces through Aries, March 21st to 27. This cusp is a union of the feet, intellect, head, which ensures remarkable brain power and capacity to carry business projects of all kinds to successful conclusions. They have remarkable enthusiasm and kindliness, which makes them charming friends and companions. Their loyalty is as steadfast as the day is long. They depend upon their intuition, which is remarkable, and their intuition never fails them. The women are usually fond of men's society and enjoy having a large number of strings to their bow, and do not care to forfeit this pleasure for marriage. The men are more given to marriage than the women, but they have a way of calculating conditions and look before they leap. The genius of this cusp is absolute cleanliness, inside and out. They have warm hearts and cool passions, and are called the consolers of the world. End of Chapter 4. Chapter 5. Taurus. All persons born from April 20th to May 19, inclusive, were born under the sign of Taurus. This is the head sign of the earth triplicity, and the Taurus people, naturally living in the realm of their sensations and emotions, must give great heed to doing certain things, or else they will suffer much. In the first place, you must control your appetites and passions. I know you are generous and like to entertain your friends with good dinners, but don't do too much of it, as you often place them in an embarrassing position, as they are not able to always return your kind and generous favors. Taurus people can amass great fortunes if they are true to their higher nature, which is to be large-minded, broad, and liberal in all they do. It is easier for you to make money than it is to save it. I would advise you to get into the habit of saving a little money regularly for a rainy day, although the true developed Taurus person will see few, if any, rainy days. You are naturally strong intellectually, and ought to cultivate your mind by wide and extensive reading. Some great writers, public speakers, preachers, and lecturers come out of your sign. It does not make much difference what profession or line of work you choose. You will be very successful in it, provided you will put all of your mind, heart, and soul into it. In other words, your success depends upon being earnestly enthusiastic over anything you have underway. You are a natural born leader and must not allow others to dictate to you what to do. Don't be proud, vain, or arrogant, or even dictatorial, but go along quietly, carrying out whatever plans you may have in hand and which seem right to you, without permitting anyone to influence your course of procedure. Your inner self, the true man, will decide better what to do than anyone else can. In love matters, social attainments, and leadership, you will excel, providing you will be guided by what I write here. Practice silence and patience, and don't think or talk much about what a great person you are. Realize quietly that you are great, but avoid being egotistical, and then you will be very charming, fascinating, magnetic, and hypnotic, drawing to yourself all the good things of the universe. At all times you must have self-control, and understand if you cannot control yourself, you cannot help or control others. And what is best of all, control and use to your great advantage the good and wonderful planetary forces and solar fluids which surround all Taurus people. Mildness, gentleness, and consideration for others whom you feel are inferior to yourself will make you a wonderful man or woman. Women of this sign must not be overbearing and dictatorial, but gentle, mild, and calm, and then they will wield a tremendous force. Anyone who is not self-control is not reliable and does not inspire confidence or respect. Taurus people, as a rule, have a natural tendency to eat and drink too much, and by not curbing their appetites, bring on disease, depression, morbid and melancholy feelings, the blues. Whenever you feel blue or dejected, fast for a day or stop eating and drinking so much. Keep cool and quiet, and you will soon recover your spirits and be bright and cheerful. Always look upon the opposite sex with pure minds, for overwhelming disaster now and then comes to the Taurus person who is not pure in mind with respect to the opposite sex. Your great force and power is in making your higher nature rule and dominate your lower nature, your brutal instincts. When in passion, Taurus, the bull, people often rip and tear about what the madness of an infuriated bull. You should always be on your guard to not let your angry passions rise and make you ridiculous to all who see you perform. Anger is very weakening and always destroys charm of character. No one can love one who gets angry spells. One of the worst faults of the Taurus sign is anger. Many a person can trace misfortune, sickness, and even failure to a spell of anger. Madness and anger are the signs of an unbalanced mind indeed. It is often the sign or forerunner of insanity. Don't be too exacting, arbitrary, or domineering, and understand others have rights, which must be respected. Naturally, no matter how careful you may be to avoid it, you will have your own way, especially when your way is the right and true way. Taurus men must not be harsh or cruel to their wives, but kind and loving. If you are a married man and disobey this command of the yogis, you will suffer greatly. Woman is the grandest and best being in the world. She is not the weaker vessel, but is by all odds the finest organization in the universe. In India, woman stands at the head of creation. Many Hindus worship God as mother of mankind, not father. Woman should command our highest love and highest respect. All Taurus people will find much happiness in marriage, especially if the marriage is blessed with children. Many a man in this sign has reached his highest success after marriage. In love affairs, you can be very successful if you will exercise mildness, gentleness, and patience. Now, remember, you can be mighty, great, and good, happy and prosperous only when you conquer your lower nature. The greatest of all conquests is the conquest of self. This sign is governed by Venus. The gems are moss agate and emerald. The astral colors are red and lemon yellow. The diseases which you are most likely to suffer from are heart troubles, dropsy, tumors, and sometimes apoplexy and brain disorders. Your best companions are those born under Capricorn and Libra. People born in this sign usually have full faces, wide noses and mouths, shining flesh inclined to readiness, and are generally powerfully built. May the peace and blessings of the Blessed One and all the devas, angels, and all the yogis of the universe be ever with you, dear sister or brother of Taurus. Bhakti Seva. Cusps. If your first breath was drawn when one sign was taking the place of another, you will partake of the characteristics of both signs. Hence, you belong to the cusp. The residence in a sign consists of 6 days. Any time less endows one with some of the qualities of the preceding sign. The cusp of Aries through Taurus, April 19th to 25. These natives have a wiry, tenacious nature and show remarkable strength in all mental conditions. It is their nature to load their friends and neighbors with good things to wear and good things to eat. They are fond of the very best things, have good taste, and their beneficiaries are in luck. The impulse of the sex is strong, and they are apt to make unhappy marriages. Their natural tendencies are toward the very highest heights. But if the native of this sign decides to touch the bottom of dissipation and sensuality, he will do so. They are called the children of the four horns, on account of their invincible determination to win. The ram is fearless and busy. The bull is fearless and dominant. The natives of this cusp are liable to think they know it all, and are given to inflict their advice upon their families and associates. Their capacity is unbounded, and they are born rulers. End of Chapter 5. Chapter 6. Gemini. All persons born from May 20th to June 20th inclusive were born under the sign of Gemini. This is the head sign of the air triplicity. Gemini people have a vivacious, restless, and anxious nature. This is the sign of the twins, and all are born in it have two distinct and pronounced natures, one very low and one very high. As they are apt to be extremists in everything they do, they usually experience alternately the very highest success and great failure. are either very strong and healthy or are weakly and sick. There is only one thing for a Gemini person to do, and that is to first realize his dual nature and then go to work with a grim determination to kill the lower or base nature. It can be done, and when accomplished, the Gemini man or woman rises to the very highest success and happiness. You will find you have two minds all the time in intense action. One says, do this, and the other says, do that. You want to travel, and you want to stay home. You want to work like a demon, and you want to be as lazy and indolent as a drone. Always restless, always anxious and apprehensive, and yet, at times, very calm. This restless, nervous temperament is due to fear and doubt, and must be supplanted by courage and hope and faith. As a matter of fact, there is no person who can do more and achieve greater success than you can if you will only understand how favorably you are born and your great and wonderful forces of the unseen world, which are always ready to help you, if you will only give these powers half a chance. You must learn to be moderate and patient and keep in a calm, quiet, receptive condition, when great and good things will flow to you in abundance. In other words, place all of your trust and confidence in the great and wise God who made and rules all in this universe. I know you are apt to doubt this truth, but stop a moment and be reasonable. Use your fine and great mind. Look about you and observe everything and soberly ask yourself, could this world and all that is in it, this great universe with its countless solar systems and countless worlds, these human beings of which I am one, happen by chance? By cool and calm observation and reflection, you will answer the question by admitting there must be an intelligent head or force back of it all. Now this blessed one, of which everything in the universe, especially you are a part, can help you. God is all in all, and is all love, and does not create to destroy. You have absolutely nothing to fear or doubt. All that is necessary for you to do to accomplish all your desires is to have full and unbounded faith in yourself, and then you will be successful. You can amass great wealth, have perfect health, and permanent happiness the very moment you begin to live in your higher nature. Worry, discontent, complaining, and murmuring will keep you in darkness and misery. Improve your mind, study and read much, observe more, and understand knowledge and wisdom brings to man all power and all force and all success and happiness. You must get full control of your desires, appetites, and passions, and not be too anxious, too ambitious, or too impatient. Learn not to worry, hurry, or scurry through life. Do one thing at a time, and do that one thing well. Whenever you start any undertaking, don't stop until you bring it to an end. Associate with refined and educated people as much as you can, and do not place too high a value on your abilities. Give to all beings, especially animals, great love, and try to be kind and gentle to everyone. Get a good, loving partner as a husband or a wife. Marriage is very beneficial to Gemini people. If you are married, do all you possibly can to make your home a bright and happy one. Be temperate in all things, especially in eating and drinking, and avoid all foods or drinks which excite or make you restless. Gemini people ought to eat sparingly of flesh or animal foods. Listen to music. Attend lectures, churches, and public meetings. Read much about successful men and women. The study of metaphysics and the occult sciences is very beneficial to Gemini people. Don't be too sensitive or timid. Remember, you are a wonderful being and can accomplish much. that there is no such thing as failure to one born in your sign. Above all things, be truthful and avoid making extravagant statements or narrating exploits in which you are the central figure. In plain English, don't be an egotist. In India, many of the great seers, sages, yogis, and adepts come out of this sign. The Gemini person is naturally very magnetic and has wonderful hypnotic and clairvoyant powers. Some of the greatest philosophers and prophets of the world were born in this sign. By being calm, modest, unaffected, truthful, and honest, and striving to do the exact right thing, you will be a very charming and fascinating person, and all persons will dearly love and worship you. Look after your faults and correct them, and you will live a long, prosperous, and exceedingly happy life. This sign is governed by Mercury, and the gems are beryl, aquamarine, and dark blue stones, and the astral colors are red, white, and blue. The diseases which you are most likely to suffer from are throat and lung troubles and nervous diseases. Your best companions are those born in Aquarius and Virgo. People born in this sign are usually well-formed, with bright complexion and dark hair. May the peace and blessings of the Blessed One and all the devas, angels, and all the yogis of the universe be ever with you, dear sister or brother of Gemini. Bhakti Seva. Cusps. If your first breath was drawn when one sign was taking the place of another, you will partake of the characteristics of both signs. Hence, you belong to the cusp. The residence in a sign consists of 6 days. Any time less endows one with some of the qualities of the preceding sign. The cusp of Taurus through Gemini, May 20th through 26th. The persons born on either of these 6 days are remarkably gifted. Their brains and their hands work in harmony. They are thinkers, artisans, artists, orators, and inventors. Without early training, they often develop abnormally and spend their time in sensuous enjoyment. Under these conditions, the women are either chronically nervous or hysterical, and the men, without proper development, are careless of their manners and reputation and are liable to be loud-voiced. But, under wise direction, the very opposite exists for both sexes. You will find good taste displayed, and very refined people are developed in this cusp. They are busy and helpful when at their best, and indolent when not in good spirits. It is all up and down with these people until they learn to govern themselves. If poor, they are tragically unhappy. They are remarkably proud and will starve rather than to ask for succor. These people are the very salt of the earth, and when developed to their spiritual and intellectual heritage, their natures are most powerful for good when they are understood, and they are generous givers, but poor receivers. End of Chapter 6. Chapter 7. Cancer. All persons born from June 21st to July 21st, inclusive, were born under the sign of Cancer. Cancer is the head sign of the water triplicity. Hindu astrology teaches persons born in this sign much that will enable them to go through life successfully. In the first place, you are naturally restless and nervous, and have a hard time making your friends understand your true nature. It is important that you know all your faults and realize that you must overcome them before you can reach the high degree of success which you can attain and which belongs to your sign. Really, you can become very successful and reach greatness by paying strict attention to what I here tell you. Your propensity is to travel, and it would be an excellent thing if you could engage in some occupation that would require you to be on the go most of the time. But don't travel about chasing rainbows or will-o'-the-wisps. Have a steadfast and earnest purpose in everything you do, and try to acquire much knowledge of the world by reading good books of travel, history, and biographical sketches. Learn at once that it is a very bad thing for you to talk about yourself, about the great things you have done or intend doing. Be silent and act, ever remembering that performance and true work speak louder than boastful talk. Don't get discouraged or make yourself miserable because you cannot do all of the great things you see others doing. If you will keep calm and patient, you can attract unseen planetary and solar forces, which in time will enable you to surpass in accomplishment many of your acquaintances who seem to be ahead of you. Your best plan is to be secretive and work quietly without letting anyone know your plans. Acts speak louder than words. Silence is golden. You must be at the head and not at the tail end of things, and you can accomplish this by quiet thought, careful study, and much reading of the lives of successful men and women. Learn all you can and understand that knowledge and wisdom is power. Stick persistently to one kind of occupation, and don't fritter and waste your energy and powers by changing from one thing to another. While you are naturally adapted to do many things well, take the advice of one who knows what he is writing about, and stick faithfully and persistently to one thing at a time. If you will follow the teachings of Hindu astrologers, you will never regret it. Under no circumstances tell a lie. Be truthful and honest, and you will receive great reward. There is a great and loving ruler of this universe, to whom you ought to pray for light, love, and direction. Such prayers are always answered. He, the Blessed One, can lead you to all peace and all happiness. The devas, angels, are ever ready to help you. Have the strongest faith in yourself, for you can succeed and progress and go onward, forward, and upward if you once realize what a great being you are. Cancer people have always furnished the world with great and grand people. Make up your mind that you will be one more of this class. It is in you to be good and great, and you certainly can become so by following Bhakti Seva's advice as given here. We yogis always urge men and women to marry and have children and make happy homes. In all ages, throughout the writing of sages, seers, and prophets, God has given the command to His children to marry and perpetuate the races. Any man or woman who does not heed this divine command is doing wrong. There is nothing that can bring so much success and true happiness into the world as a happy marriage. If you are married, then God bless you, and may you create such a happy home that it will be an example to others to do likewise. In love affairs, the Cancer people are very successful when they are sincere and persistent. Laziness, selfishness, vanity, jealousy, and dishonesty are sometimes natural to the Cancer person, and must be overcome before any success or happiness can be had. You ought to dress well, but must not run in debt for fine clothes. Every dollar you spend for anything ought to be a dollar that you have earned. Don't let people make you vain, silly, and foolish by flattering you. Flattery can work you great harm if you listen to it. Don't be fickle or inconstant, because a fickle person is soon known, and no one will place any confidence in such a person. Some women of the Cancer sign are very fickle. Cancer is governed by the moon, and as this satellite of our planet is changing every month, it accounts for the restless and impatient nature of people born in your sign. You can easily remedy all of your bad tendencies and become very strong and great by holding in your mind all the times an earnest desire to be a better man or a better woman. The planetary forces and the solar fluids will then help you to destroy the influence of the moon. Besides, Cancer people can get much strength and help from unseen powers, if they will only feel and understand that behind all creation is one blessed principle, the Ancient One, the King of all kings, the very God of the universe. Until you can realize this grand truth, you will have to struggle and suffer more or less. God can only help those who sincerely desire His help. The study of philosophy, metaphysics, and occult science will open your eyes to wonderful truths and give you powers and forces that will make you successful, magnetic, charming, and fascinating. This sign is governed by the moon, and the gems are emerald and black onyx. The astral colors are green and russet brown. The diseases which you are most likely to suffer from are indigestion and gastric troubles. Your best companions are those born in Pisces and Scorpio. People born in this sign are usually of medium stature, rather large in the upper portion of the body, with round face, soft skin, pale complexion, and small features. May the peace and blessings of the Blessed One and all the devas, angels, and all the yogis of the universe be ever with you, dear sister or brother of Cancer. Bhakti Seva. Cusps. If your first breath was drawn when one sign was taking the place of another, you will partake of the characteristics of both signs. Hence, you belong to the cusp. The residence in a sign consists of 6 days. Any time less endows one with some of the qualities of the preceding sign. The cusp of Gemini through Cancer, June 21st through 27th. The utmost care in childhood is needed to persons born in this cusp. These persons are opinionated and self-willed, but make the best neighbors and friends when they are understood. The women born in this sign are often coquettes. Their marital engagement is treated as a passing sensation, and marriage is liable to be held quite as loosely. They are excessively fond of children, and in case of separation, they fight to death for their custody. The men are extremely fond of pleasure and liable to sacrifice business and home for this pursuit. The bon vivants of the world were born in this cusp. They are excessively fond of show, but possess a magnetic quality that draws everything to them. If they fail in business, someone always comes to the rescue and helps them start again, and it is very apt to be a woman. They are remarkably brilliant and always show to advantage on account of their wonderful magnetism. They are fluent talkers, great readers, but are apt to be superficial. The genius of this sign is kindliness. End of chapter 7.